Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right. I had a big blessing from Mary Curry. Talk. My screen has frozen. I hope I am still recording, but my screen froze for a moment. But today marks important anniversary since my blessing from Mary Curry 2 Curry years ago now. What had happened was last December, my grandmother passed away. She was 91 years old, and when I read the obituary, I discovered she was born shortly before Mary Curry had passed away. So the two of them had coexisted, and I wanted my grandmother to go up to heaven to talk to Mary Curry, to have Mary Curry set me up on a blind date. I had just had a string of bad luck in my dating life at that point in my life. I went to the funeral. Now, Mary Curry discovered polonium. Polonium is now made in a nuclear reactor starting from bismuth. And so I left a small chunk of bismuth in my grandmother's casket. And I asked her to go talk to Mary Curry. My dad was so upset when I was doing this at the funeral. He thought it was a big joke. And he said that funerals are not really a good place to joke like this. There were other families at the funeral home that were unrelated to us, right? Other funerals going on, and people overheard us. And my dad was really upset. He explained to me that, grandmother might be 91 years old, but there are other people who have died from other more tragic situations and not as old as her. It's not good to be joking like this. My dad was so upset. And he was even more upset when I explained why I left a small chunk of bismuth in the casket. And now looking back at it, he doesn't remember being upset anymore. Now that all the success has come of it, he claims he doesn't remember how upset he was now. I got back to the hostel after the funeral, had a short holiday. For some bizarre reason, I decided to reopen an online dating account that I had not used in a long time. To give you an idea how long I had not used that account, this is last Christmas we're talking about. But when I looked at the photos, some of the last photos I uploaded to the account were me stuck at home because of the quarantine. And that's how old that profile was. I had to create a new one because in the profile I had lied about my age. I had boasted about a few silly things. And I don't want to lie about my age when I'm in Taiwan because over there people actually take good care of their health. People who are 40 actually look 40. Unlike here in the United States, they look like they could almost retire, right? By Taiwanese standards, at least, right? So I had to create a new profile. Before I knew it, I met a girl there. She was from Vietnam. I didn't see her until the very last day of the trip. When I got on the train to go back to my hostel, she had to get off at a stop before mine. And when I watched her walk off the train, it was like watching part of me disappear into the crowd. I was so heartbroken about having to come home to the United States. The next day, I can't even remember how I got on the plane, flew back to Phoenix, got in, uh, took a bus back to my car, and at the time I didn't have an apartment. I was living in the car. I don't remember how everything played out. Uh, I ended up moving in with, another friend of a friend, which didn't turn out very well. But those that one week was a complete blur. I cannot remember. Not long after I got home, I met a girl who was half Polish and loves literature, and it reminded me of Eve Curry. She's working on her own novel. Uh, and good inspiration for my art projects as well. What she's doing, we've been inspiring each other, but she has a lot of social anxiety. One day we were going to go see a movie, and she was really late, and I sat in the lobby waiting for her for over an hour. And while waiting for her, I decided to read about the real Eve Curie. I was curious about whether or not the real Eve Curie also had similar social anxiety. As I was reading about that, I discovered Helene Curie, and she's still alive, 97 years old. And I decided to write an email to her about all the chemistry experiments I had done, including extracting the radioisotopes from the dust in our vacuum cleaner. Unfortunately, I didn't make a video of myself extracting the dust because I want to focus on what I'm doing. Things like that can be really dangerous. That's why you don't see me record a lot of videos on my making bismuth art. Things like that, I really need to pay attention to what I'm doing, right? That would be akin to me trying to record myself taking a road trip. But you don't want to do that when you're driving, right? That's why you don't see me do a lot of that stuff. So, but I have a pretty good camera kind of camera detail kind of memory. So I was able to explain to Helene what I was doing and all the little kinks of that. To my surprise, I got a good response out of that. And I that was like a blessing from Mary Curry. Uh, and not long after that, I had been Facebook friends with Polish idol Evelina Falenta for quite a few years, actually. But it was just that. She posted stuff. I sometimes wrote a comment. Nothing much came of it. Shortly after I got home from the funeral, one day while talking to her, I dropped the L bomb. And she reacted positively to that. And I got really concerned. And here's why I got concerned. I sometimes have dreams at night that later come true. I've talked about this in other videos. I would dream about various things happening in the economy. I would dream about things happening in my personal life, and then they would come true almost on the dot. One night, I had quit masturbating for over a month at this point. One night, I dreamt that it had been years since I quit masturbating, and I went to visit Evelina Falenta. For some reason, at the time, we weren't even chatting. I went to visit her, and I had gotten her pregnant with 10 babies at once. And the reason she had gotten pregnant with so many babies was because I hadn't masturbated in years. I don't know if biology works that way. Leave a comment if anybody knows about that. But that's how it worked in my dream. And she was pregnant with 10 babies. And for some reason, neither of us were really concerned about that. We were excited about it. So when I dropped the L bomb while talking to her in real life, and she reacted positively to that, I thought that was the beginning of that dream playing out, and I got really concerned. And it inspired me to go accumulate another few tons of bismuth just in case that dream were to come true. And I really need some financial freedom to take care of that, right? So that was good. That was good. Oh, and so now I have 3 tons of bismuth. And then the tariffs happened, obviously, and you guys know how much that's worth now. And today marks 2 half-lives of polonium-210 since all of that happened. Okay, you're good at math. What would be the child support in bismuth on 10 kids? Well, fortunately, she makes a lot more money than I do, so I probably won't have to worry. It's more the emotional investment into it that I would have to worry about, not the bismuth investment, right? Fortunately, right? All right, please continue to pray for me by singing along and hitting the dislike button. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.